Val, how did you find carnivore?
Well, a few years ago, I was just not doing well. I wasn't feeling well at all. I had a lot of like arthritis issues, a lot of mood issues, things like that. I had stopped working in pharmaceuticals and stayed at home for a little while to raise my girls. And I was just feeling horrible and I didn't know what was wrong with me. And then I actually started acting at the age of 40 and went to an open audition. Since then, I've opened up a studio and been in movies and things like that. But I needed to figure out what my issue was with the arthritis and everything. I just could not figure it out, and I tried everything. So I went keto, and I noticed things changed. Definitely, there was an improvement. And then I did the autoimmune protocol, and that was helpful too. But it was like extremely involved to do all this, like putting things in and taking them out, and all of that. So then I decided to try carnivore because I was searching for answers and saw these different podcasts and stuff. And it was like a miracle. It was a miracle.
So, the arthritis just disappeared or
Right
got
away.
better?
Yeah. The arthritis went away. Literally all my joints hurt all the time. And I was feeling, especially my hips. Oh, it was bad. And both my daughters danced. So I'd have long days with dance competitions. And then I started acting. That would be in the studio. And then I'd be on sets and things like that. And it was just, I was in a lot of pain. I also had a lot of GI issues. And then the worst part was like my mood. And I just didn't want to be a person who was depressed and anxious all the time because I kind of grew up in a situation where my mother was constantly sick and depressed and all. So I just did not want that. So I decided to try it. And when it worked in the first one, I was like astounded. It was amazing. And my mood was better. I could feel like this dark cloud lifting. I had more energy. And I started to look better too because I lost weight. I didn't even do it to lose weight, but I lost a good amount of weight. And so people started to notice. And so that's what happened.
That's fantastic. And how long ago was it when you got started?
I would say like probably about 3 or 4 years ago at this point. So I have been
Wow.
bad and I've been off and on it a few times, which I
Right.
will also discuss. So I would say like 4 years, but not completely the whole time. I have had ups and downs, and the downs have always been disaster, but sometimes it's hard for me to learn.
Right. Um, yeah, when it comes to things like food and alcohol, we tend to take a long
Right.
time to learn lessons, right?
Amen.
Um, yeah. So, you had mentioned that, one of those times was, like, at the beginning of the year. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So I spoke with you last year around this time. So then I had a project coming up where I was not going to act in this project, but I know the producer and director very well. And he really needed help with the wardrobe department. I was like, "Oh, how hard can it be? Like, I'm a woman and we shop and whatever." Okay. That was the worst job of my whole entire life. The people I worked with were beautiful, wonderful people. The experience itself, it was just that job was just not for me. So it's a horror movie. I'll just tell you what it's called. It's called Madonna Non Grata. It will be coming out. Again, I was doing wardrobe in it, so please just look at the amazing outfits. Well, in a horror film, I don't know if you know this, but you have to get multiples of everything for each person because if somebody gets bloodied and then they do a scene, they got to put another thing on. Okay, so it's like, it's not just even a regular wardrobe. It's like extra stuff. Then we had doubles, like stunt doubles. So you got to get stuff for them and a double of it. I didn't sleep. It was horrible. Even thinking about doing carnivore because I did not plan anything. I was just stressed. I was always shopping. I had like the actors were all pissed at me. It was, it was so bad. So I went off of it and I'm telling you, it was like I crashed so hard. When that movie got done at the end of January, it took me like a full month to recover. I started right after I started to get back on carnivore because I was at home and like my schedule was not as insane, but it was like a full month of trying to recover because I crashed so hard in January. It was horrific. But then I slowed. By the time it was March, I was back to myself. I felt good again. I was on carnivore, etc. Then by the time the next movie came on, which I was acting in, right, I was feeling great, back to myself. But like, I really wish that I had not gone down that road because it was really horrific, and I probably wouldn't have been such a bitch and in such a bad mood if I would have like planned a little bit better.
Right. And so at that time, was it more about, "I just don't have time, I'm just gonna eat anything," or was it more like a comfort-related thing to deal with the
Both,
stress?
probably both. I would say, like, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, it's just because I didn't pay. It definitely is. When you're on set, you kind of, they cater it. They ask in the beginning, like, is anybody gluten free, whatever. Whatever you get though. Right. So it's like, and I literally didn't even have like time to eat. It was like shoving things in my face while I'm getting all these outfits on people. And I had all the sizes wrong. I was just like, I was the worst wardrobe person ever. Like literally the worst. And that's okay because I will never do the job again. So don't ever ask me, I don't want that job. I'll just act in it or I'll produce. So long story short is, I got through it, but oh my gosh, did I go downhill because I just would eat whatever I could like on the fly. I literally ate even like bread. I can't believe I did that. No wonder it was so bad. It was
Yeah. It's, I think when you fall off like that, it can be one of those things where the more the more you do it, the easier it is to
oh yeah.
justify it to yourself. Like,
I'm
it's like, "Oh, I'm already in the middle of this, who cares?" It's
like everybody hates me anyway. And who cares about? Oh my gosh! What does it matter? So what?
Right. So, during that period of time, did w was it just kind of you felt there was maybe that moodiness came back, or was there
Oh,
anything else? Did
totally.
you notice the joint pain coming back or
The
anything?
joint pain was there big time. It was immediately, it was the joint pain, my stomach issues. I had constant heartburn. I don't know if it was a stress. It was a stress and the obviously going off carnivore. Um, oh, my mood was it was just so bad. It was so bad. So it really was like everything just snowballed on top of each other. It really did. And yeah, I would have just approached it so differently. Now looking back, I just really had no idea it was going to be that involved. And also, like, how bad I would suck at the job. So
And to be fair though,
Mm.
it's like that suckiness is more driven from you weren't actually expecting the
Uh,
amount of kind of
yeah, and then I'm like,
overwhelm.
no idea, and then I'm trying to get outfits for, like, these very big men who, like, are like footballers, right? I mean, I don't really shop for my husband. He gets his own stuff, and I have 2 daughters. I have all these measurements. I'm like, I don't even know what this is. This sports jacket thing is like 42 long, blah, blah, blah. Then I had Eric Roberts. You know Eric Roberts, right? So I'm trying to dress him too. Well, he had like this whole specific, all this stuff and I'd worked with him several times before acting with him. And he's like, Val, I love you. I really do. But you really suck at this job. This is horrible. They're all wrong. Everything's wrong. It's all wrong. So, but because of all this stress, and nobody likes to be like so bad at their job and just completely not knowing what they're doing and failing the whole thing. Um, yeah, it was bad. I was so happy when January was over. And then I remember the day it was over, I came back on the way home. I stopped at Acme. I got a roast because I was like, I've got to just get back. And I put it in the crock pot overnight. So at least I had something the next day. Like I knew I needed to start right away because I was just in bad shape.
Right. And so you got back on, and how are you feeling now?
Great. I'm great now. Now I'm great. Yeah, so that was all the way back in January, a year ago. I can't believe it. So then February is kind of, I had to get back on it and I just felt like crap. Like I started to feel, but it took like a month for the joint pain to go away and for my mood to be a bit better and for, that to stop like having complete freakouts, thinking somebody's going to yell at me. So do you worry about how much I hate clothing? And I just will only act from now on. So,
Yeah. And so you're back on carnivore. Is your family doing this, or are they kind of doing their own thing?
so I'll make like my dinner and they'll have that, but then they have some other stuff with it. So it's kind of like I don't really have sides. So I'll make whether it's chicken or a roast, whatever. I'll just eat the meat, but then I'll make like potatoes for them and whatever vegetable. Vegetables I cannot do. Like it does not work out. Like
Right.
literally any vegetable. That sounds so crazy, but you know how it is. Man, it's like I think it has something to do with, and I've listened to so many of these podcasts, but what's it called? Where it's like shards of like glass.
Oxalates.
Thank you. I have a very big issue with that. I think I don't know if I'm like completely allergic to them or whatever, but that will do me in. And even I tried turmeric for the joint pain. Oh well, forget it. It made it worse, like a million times worse.
Yeah. And often the healthiest vegetables are the worst for oxalates, like the sweet potatoes and the spinach, and people are walking around going, I'm doing the best I've ever done for my health in my life, and actually, they're slowly poisoning themselves.
Yeah, and it was wild because when I finally really learned about it and they explained it's like these crystal type things, and I was like, I almost could feel it. Like the way they just go, I'm like, oh my gosh, it feels like little shards of like glass are like in my joints, like ripping them up. That's the only thing I could think. Like the way it was described made so much sense because that's exactly how it felt when I would eat anything with oxalates in it.
Right. And, when you start to learn this stuff and then you realize, oh, so it's not natural for humans just to develop kidney stones. We've actually been doing this to ourselves this whole time.
Right.
Mm,
Right. And I don't know if it's also like some people just aren't as sensitive to them, right? But then some people are I'm obviously highly sensitive to them.
mm, mm.
So I'm just
Yeah.
kind of,
So right now, have you settled back into eating kind of 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day?
yeah. So in the morning, I don't need to eat. I wake up, I'm not hungry, which is great. Um, Sometimes I'll do a bulletproof coffee. I will do that because I'll just put butter in it, butter with coffee, and I'll kind of blend it up. So I'll have that, and then I'll eat around noon. I'll have whatever I have, ground beef or chicken or any kind of meat. And then I'll eat later before bed because, and I had said this before that I'm kind of like a baby. I need to have a full belly before bed or I can't sleep. Like if I'm not full before bed, I just won't sleep. It's not going to happen. So I will eat and then go to bed. And it's a great schedule.
Nice. And, your has your sleep improved since you've been doing carnivore?
Very much so. Yes. And the more fat I eat,
Mm.
for that. Like I tend to have the fattier type of meal for my dinner, my late dinner, because it helps me sleep. So it's like a comfort thing where it'll get me through the night. I wake up, I'm not hungry at all. Which again, like going back to prior before I was even on carnivore ever, I was constantly eating. Constantly eating. I never stopped eating because I would graze, which was the worst thing to do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but and at the time I thought that was like super healthy.
Yeah, there's this myth that multiple small meals and snacks throughout the day is good for us, and we should be
But
grazing. We shouldn't be eating regular meals. And it's like, well, have you looked at the animals that graze? Like cows are not exactly,
yeah, it's
the peak
like a
fitness.
buffalo. We don't want to look like a big cow or big buffalo. No
Right.
thanks.
Yeah. Um, wow. So, do you feel like carnivore is something that you'll stick with? Like
I
this.
have to. I mean, I
Mm,
just have to because I I don't do well when I'm not on it. And when I did go back to set, when I was acting and not doing the stressful wardrobe thing, um, I did plan everything very well. So I brought stuff with me, but also I made sure that they knew, like, because they ask, what can you eat and stuff. So they did bring good food that I could eat. And so even if it was like a late night, I was going away into the night, there was the right food was there. But I also brought stuff. Like I was really careful about it because I didn't want to get back into that whole situation.
right. So they'll even kind of, if you say, "Look, I can only eat
Yeah, they'll be
chicken
very
or
good.
steaks," they'll bring that kind of thing for you.
And more people are doing it, honestly, especially actors. And you think like, oh, actors, they're always just like eating salads and whatever. There, a lot of actors actually do carnivore.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
they're a
it
lot.
it makes sense if you're doing, because you never know how long a day is gonna be, I guess,
You never
right?
know. And
Because
it's
if you
always
got a kid.
longer than thing.
Right.
It's
So,
always longer. And yeah,
yeah, not feeling hungry because you've eaten a steak a few hours ago or something is probably the optimal way to
absolutely.
work.
Yes. So a lot of actors have figured that out. So I wasn't alone. Like on set, I wasn't alone on set asking for just meat.
Right. Yeah, so speaking of the acting, are you able to talk at all about those recent acting projects that you've had?
Sure. So the one where I did wardrobe, like I said, that was Madonna Non Grata. It's a horror thriller type of film. Then I played a hospice nurse on this beautiful film called Divine Direction. And it was that Divine Direction is actually a true story of this man who he was a pastor, but he lost his son. And it's that whole story, a very beautiful story. And then the next film I was in was called Cycle of Grace. And that one was it's a beautiful story, very emotional, where I played the mother of this boy who had gone into a car accident. So it was like very sad. So also I was totally on carnivore during this time so I could make sure I was like steady and the whole thing because I knew I was going to have to be very emotional for this part. So it's about a bunch of different kids in this program, but my son had gotten in a car accident where he ended up in a wheelchair. So he was like paralyzed, but also he killed the other kids in the car. So it was like the horrific. And here I am, like the mom, trying to care for him. It was just extremely sad. But in the end, it's a very beautiful story. And worked with a bunch of great actors on both of those films. And then actually, I wrote a feature film with a few of my colleagues, um, which we are going to start filming in the spring. So that's going to be very exciting.
Oh,
And it's a
that's
comedy.
fantastic. Oh,
Comedy.
comedy. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yes. We're working on the title still. We're kind of up in the air about the title, but it's about a competition. It's about an acting competition. So it's very
Oh,
funny because
cool.
it's pretty much based on all the people who I hang out with at my studio because it's the strangest, weirdest, but most lovely group of people on earth. But really, I mean, there's a lot of like just natural comedy there with different personalities.
Right, right, right.
Let's just say that.
It's always good when you can kind of, like, just look at the actual industry you're in and kind of, like,
Yes,
make the
like make fun of it.
personalities a bit more ridiculous to joke about it, right?
Yes. So we're certainly making fun of the industry that we're in, and it's going to be a great time. So that should probably be out like 2028. But all these other films that I did, oh, and also a film I was leading called Boo, that'll be released in 2026. And that's a horror film. And it actually uses old footage from, well, some of it was filmed in Eddie Murphy's house way back. Yeah, it's actually Eddie Murphy's best friend wrote it. And he wrote it back in 1988. And he started this story back in 1988 and he never finished it. And Eddie was like, are you going to finish it? So he did finish it with the help of Joshua Coates, my good friend, where we are using footage from way back then. And then it's like an updated story now. So the late John Amos was in it, his old footage. So that's kind of cool.
What?
But yeah, so we completed the story, and I very much like to complete things.
Mm.
So it started in 1988. We finished it 2 years ago. So it should be out next year.
Oh, that's fantastic. So that's called Boo,
Yes,
like
and it's
as in ghost.
BOMO. It's like an extra
Ah,
O.
ah. And just to confirm, the names of the other ones, Divine Direction, and was it Psych?
Cycle of Grace.
Right.
Cycle of Grace. Mm-hmm.
Cycle of Grace. I
Cycle,
thought you
yeah.
said Psycho Grace.
Oh, no, that's the But Madonna Non Grata, there's psychos in that.
Right.
But that's the
Right.
wardrobe. And I was psycho in that because I was
Right.
so. But Cycle of Grace, yes,
Right.
it's a beautiful, beautiful story.
Right. And are they likely to be released in the next year, or is it a little bit longer than that?
I think 2026, they're planning 2026, but it could be 2027. You never know
Right.
with these things. Like,
Mm.
I'm thinking 2026, but who knows? It might be one
Right.
I sure.
Oh, I'll definitely be watching out for them.
Cool. Yeah.
So, um, just back on carnivore, um, if you were talking to someone in your industry and, you know, they're perhaps commenting on how they notice that you don't eat very much or something like
Mhm.
that, like, and they wanna give carnivore a try. How would you recommend they start? Would you just say kind of rip the Band-Aid off and jump
Yeah.
in, or you need to
I'd say
cut
go
things
for it. I
out?
would give them a shopping list
Mm,
and I tell them, listen, just the first week it's kind of hard because anything that's new is hard, but I would tell them to listen to like your channel and the other channel, listen to all those things. Make sure you're getting enough fat and water and electrolytes. Once you get past that first week or two, you'll start to see a huge change. And then once they're on it for that amount of time, then they stick to it because they feel better. I mean, it's that simple. Once you start feeling better, then you're hooked until you decide to go off of it because you're freaking out. And then that's no good. So I'm never doing that again.
and, the cool thing about it is, as you say, once you're a week in, 2 weeks in, it starts to be this kind of, self-maintaining momentum about it because
Yeah.
you're feeling good. So it's not like
Right.
you're not feeling like there's a lack of something anymore. You know, you're feeling like, oh, I feel great. I don't
Mhm.
feel hungry. I'm not thinking about the food all the time while I'm trying to do other things. So it's
Exactly.
easier to continue.
It's definitely, definitely easier. But yeah, the first 2 weeks they can be hard. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean anything's hard, you know? So just get through it and listen to all these things, make sure you have enough food available. And I would say just, especially the first 2 weeks, just eat whenever you're hungry. Just eat. And then you'll start to see how that changes. Because it totally does. After week 2, you you're not thinking about it.
Yeah. So Val, if people want to reach out to you, do you have any way of getting in contact, like social media or a website or anything?
Yep. So I am working on a website. I need to get that to my list. I'm going to do it before the new year. But my social media is just my name, Val McAdoo. So it's Val and then MCADOL. It's a kind of a weird way to spell it, like McAdoo, but it's McAdoo. So Val McAdoo. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. I'm not on TikTok or any of that stuff because I just there's so much stuff. And then my company's name is the Actors Co-op, so also believe a bunch of stuff on that too,
Right.
and also
Um,
IMDb. You can look at that for about it.
yeah. Yeah, I'll link to that too. So yeah, I'll link to all of those in the show notes. Val, thank you so much for coming back on and letting us know how things are going. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.